All right, for the next few minutes, we're going to zoom way, way in to uncover the invisible force that's fueling literally everything you do, from blinking your eyes to running a marathon. It's one of the most important molecules in existence, and it's working inside of you right now. I mean, have you ever really stopped to think about that? What is the actual physical thing that gives your heart the energy to beat? Or your brain the juice to even process what I'm saying? It's not magic, it's chemistry. And the answer is the same for you, for a giant tree, and for the tiniest little bacterium. So let's go ahead and pull back the curtain on this biological mystery. We are about to meet the molecule that acts like universal cash for energy in, well, the entire living world. And here it is, the star of our show, adenosine triphosphate. Yeah, it's a bit of a mouthful, right? That's why pretty much everyone just calls it ATP. Its job is simple, but it is so profound. It takes the energy from the food you eat and delivers it, on demand, to any part of the cell that needs to get some work done. But how does one little molecule actually deliver energy? I mean, what does that even mean? Well, the best way to wrap your head around it is with a really simple but powerful analogy. Okay, this is the key. Think of ATP as a fully charged battery. It's holding onto 3 phosphate groups, and that third one, that's the important one. It's connected by a really high energy bond. So when a cell needs power, snap, it breaks that bond, releasing a burst of useful energy. Now the molecule is called ADP, adenosine diphosphate, and it's basically a used-up battery ready to be plugged in and recharged. And this is exactly why scientists love this phrase. You know, just like with money, you can't just wish for something to happen in a cell. You got to pay for it. And ATP is the payment. You want to contract a muscle? Spend some ATP. Need to build a new protein? You got to spend some more ATP. It is the universal currency for getting things done. So, if ATP is the currency, what exactly is it buying? Let's take a peek at the incredible to-do list that your cells are tackling with it every single second of every single day. I mean, look at this list. This is basically the blueprint for life itself. Any muscle movement? ATP. Your brain firing off signals so you can understand me right now? That costs a huge amount of ATP. Even something as small as healing a tiny paper cut needs a constant flow of ATP to build that new tissue. Without it, all of these essential processes would just stop. But wait a second. This brings up a really important question, right? If we're spending all this ATP all the time, where does it come from? How do our cells keep recharging all those little ADP batteries? Well, to find out, we need to go to the source, the power plants of the cell. You probably remember this one from biology class, right? The mitochondria are famous for being the powerhouses, and this is exactly why. They're the main places where the energy locked away in your food, like the sugar from an apple, gets converted into these useful little ATP molecules. The whole process is called cellular respiration, and it's kind of like a 3-stage factory assembly line. It starts just outside the mitochondria with glycolysis, which just means splitting sugar, and it breaks a glucose molecule in half. For that, you get a small profit of 2 ATP. Then the pieces go inside the mitochondria for the Krebs cycle, which gets another 2 ATP. But the final step, the electron transport chain, that's the main event. It's the powerhouse of the powerhouse churning out a whopping 34 ATP. And that number right there, it just brilliantly shows how efficient life is. From one single molecule of sugar, your body can generate roughly 38 fully charged ATP batteries, all ready to be sent out to do some work. That's an incredible return on investment. Okay, so we've seen what ATP is and how a single molecule gets made. But now we're going to zoom all the way out, because the sheer scale at which this is happening inside you right at this very moment is, well, it's truly mind-boggling.
And no, that is not a typo. I'm not exaggerating. In a single day, an average adult will produce and then use up an amount of ATP that is equivalent to their own body weight. Think about that. You don't store it up. You are a relentless recycling machine, constantly turning those used ATP batteries back into fresh ATP, second after second. And that's why all that recycling is so critical. There's just no off switch. Life doesn't pause when you go to sleep. Your body is still working hard, doing all these essential things that need a constant supply of energy. Your heart doesn't take a break, your brain is still dreaming, and all of that is paid for by a nonstop river of ATP.
To bring this all home, let's use one final analogy. Imagine your body not as a single thing, but as a sprawling, complex city that never, ever sleeps. In this city of you, all the proteins are the workers. They're the builders, the delivery drivers, the messengers. They're doing all the jobs. But what lets them do their work? It's the electricity. ATP is the power grid for the whole city. And if you cut the power, all the workers just stand still. The entire city goes dark. And that leaves us with one last, pretty profound thought. Every single living thing on this planet is completely dependent on this constant, non-stop flow of energy. It really gets to a fundamental truth of biology. When the production of ATP stops, life stops. It truly is the spark that animates us all.